We're now joined with Jeff Reid here at the Sheppey Little Theatre on the Swale Arts Forum Bursary Award for Creative Writing. First of all, congratulations for winning the award.
Thank you very much indeed.
How did you, or why did you decide to enter it?
Well, I've been writing about the Isle of Sheppey and Swale in general for a number of years, taking events that have taken place on the island and people that have been important perhaps on the island, or just people lived on the island, and written them so that people could act them. So quite recently I wrote something called Flights of Fancy, which was a piecing together of early flights of aviation on the Isle of Sheppey with John Moore, Brabazon and the other early flyers, and so that came out last year. Previously, I've written about one of the mayors of Queenborough, who's a bit of a baddie, and his life. A chap called Mayor Greet, interesting character, who died in 1826 on Boxing Day. But before then, he ruled Queenborough with a rod of iron, and was so fearful of his life that he used to walk up and down High Street with a brace of loaded pistols in his belt. And when he died, because he almost single-handedly brought about the impoverishment of Queenborough, when he died, all the inhabitants of Queenborough turned up to his funeral and threw a halfpenny into his empty casket to make sure that he had the fare to take him to hell, because the local people didn't want him back again. And so, always having found that local places are more likely to furnish interesting stories than just, you know, pure fiction plucked from the air, I've been writing about local people and trying to give them a voice, trying to think, well, you know, it's all about reading about in the history books, but what would they be like as real life people? And I've tried to do that. And this particular award, this bursary here, is based on the idea of taking the house where I live, which is one of the shrimp terraces along the seafront in Sheerness, and researching all the people that have lived in Shrimp Terrace since 1895 when it was built to now, and then selecting some of those people and writing the stories that they may tell. So one of the stories might be about the chap who worked in the naval dockyard and was involved in development and very important with torpedoes. And in his testing of torpedoes, he lost one and had to put up reward notices for his lost torpedo along Marine Parade. Or there was an advert for 61 Marine Parade where I live for a 16-year-old girl to a live-in servant for the princely sum of 12 and 6 a year. And I thought, well, you know, what would that girl, assuming that she was that they actually found someone to work for those kind of wages, you know, what story would she have to tell about her love life with the butcher's boy? And Shrimp Terrace was requisitioned during the Second World War to Wrens. You know, what story would they tell as they looked out the front window and saw the Richard Montgomery going aground? And what story would later on people who worked in the docks have to tell their story about the docks being closed down? What were their thoughts and feelings about that? So I thought, take all those people together, and you know, you could write a script that tried to capture what they really sound like and told their story. So that's the outline of the bursary. So the bursary is going to help you to research that kind of history. That's right. I mean, with the whacking great wedge that the bursary gives me, then you know it'll help that research, and actually then of course the writing of the scripts, and then the longer term plan is to look for further funding, and then to employ actors to play the parts of the various characters throughout the last 100 years that have lived in Shrimp Terrace, and then various rooms in the house, those characters could tell their stories. So, for example, you might get the gentleman from the naval dockyard with his lost torpedo telling his story in the front room. You might get two wrens who are getting ready for a Saturday night out telling their story in the bathroom. The servant girl telling her story along with the butcher's boy about how their love life is going in the kitchen, and then you'd have small groups of people come around on designated days and have as it were, a guided historical walk of the house.
Is it a difficult process to find history out about this building?
History is, particularly over the last 100 years or so, is quite readily available. Population censuses are rich sources of who lived where, and they won't tell you much detail apart from name, age, and occupation. The library, with its long records of local newspapers, another rich source of local history over the last 100 years. So you can find stories from then, or indeed that's where the advert for the servant girl came from. So the actual finding out the bare bones of people's lives are straightforward enough. But most people, obviously, they live their life and their stories not necessarily recorded. I mean, the trick comes in the creative process of imagining what they may have seen and what they may have said, and bringing their name, which is on paper, their life to life.
Jeff, I'd like to thank you very much for speaking to us. Once again, congratulations for winning this year's bursary.
Thank you very much indeed.
Right, we're now joined with Jamie Evington here at the Swale Arts Forum Bursary evenings. Now, we caught up with you a year ago when you just won the bursary. Hard to believe, actually. It was a year ago.
Yeah.
How have things been going for you in the last year since you were awarded it?
Yeah, they've been going really well. Just stretching out, doing my thing. So,
how did the bursary help you?
It helped me get onto the foundation course, which obviously it's funded me really well, and I've gained further scholarships through other colleges, which will secure my next 3 years in training. So,
and what college did you actually go to?
Erdang, which is in North London. So I travel every morning.
So a busy time for you?
Yeah, just a bit. Leave at 5:30 and then back in by 9. So.
And what are your sort of future careers when your course is finished? What are you hoping to do?
Hopefully the West End or cruise ships, and then after that choreography. So.
And I also understand you're going to do a short performance tonight. Can you tell us a bit about that?
It's a real short performance. I haven't really had long to prepare because of training at college and everything, and monologues and songs and routines and everything to keep up with. So it is a short performance, and it's a slow sort of genre. So cool.
Jamie, I'd like to thank you very much for updating us. You're going a year later.
Thank you.
We're joined with Sue Petos, the chairman of the Swale Arts Forum, on the third Swale Arts Forum Bursary. Now it's creative writing this year. Can you tell us a little bit about this evening's event?
Oh, we've had an amazing time. We've had loads of people. We're here at the Sheppey Little Theatre. Their staff have been really fantastic. The theatre is just a brilliant place. If any of you can pop in, please do come here. We've had talks from creative writers. We've had Big Fish perform. We've had Four of a Kind. James Apps, who is head of Sheppey, he's chairman of Sheppey Writers, was the announcer. Oh, sorry. Compare. Sorry, that's it. Sorry, I'm very excited because we've just had an amazing evening. So we had a broad cross-section, and I know it's quite difficult for the judges to...
Can't imagine it difficult.
Yeah, and, hopefully next year we'll be back to visual arts, which is my thing. Unless we can get more funding, if there's anybody out there that wants to fund, give us more money, then we can actually, we've always wanted to be able to put on a whole evening of arts entertainment, which includes visual arts, creative writing and performance arts. So, this is where we're going to be. So this time next year, it's going to be a big visual art
I think it's growing
exhibition.
Every year.
Yeah.
Sue Peters, I'd like to thank you very much for speaking to
All
us
right,
here
thank
at
you.
the Swale Arts Forum Bursary's O10.